Hi, my name is Mark Beccue. I'm principal analyst with ESG. My practice area is AI, and wanted to talk a little bit today about a study that we've just published on generative AI, state of the market. One of the key findings that came out of this is something of a surprise and something not of a surprise. And the general thought was generative AI market adoption is accelerating. So there's a lot of people who are out there right now that kind of thought we might have been hitting a little bit of a cold spot with generative AI after such great interest. Maybe it was too much hype and that kind of thing. But our study contradicted that and shows that adoption is not only healthy but accelerating. I'll explain that for a second. We asked 832 organizations across the globe where they were on their journey, and we focused on folks that answered the question in a couple different ways. Two of them had to do with production. One was early production or mature production, and a third option they had was we were in POC. There were other options within there for them to answer, but in the survey, we found that over 30% were in production of some sort, either mature or early production, and another 33% were in POC. So if you take that for a moment and say, all right, we're big believers in the diffusion of innovation theory, right? Which is the old, technology innovation accelerations have to do on a bell curve. And typically you have early adopters, it goes fairly slow. And once you hit an inflection point, usually around 16%, that curve goes very quickly, it grows very rapidly. So if you take our just 30% number, we have passed that magic kicking off point for mass market adoption, which would be around 16%. We're at 30%. So this is a big deal. I think that's like I said, a little counteractive to what was kind of published or what people are kind of saying about that. So important step in how generative AI is developing is just simply that we're in mass market. Now, what gave us that one question answered that a bit. There are a couple of others that showed us how the market adoption is accelerating. One of the questions was about budgets, and across the board, budgets are increasing with those companies that were in either production or POC. And usage within those companies is also accelerating. So a couple of things there. The last part to this that I think is important in terms of how adoption is going is there's really a lot of optimism that generative AI will bring significant value. We asked the question across a lot of different categories, and it was pretty amazing. 11 different value options, right? So, they could say transformative value or significant value was an answer in these 11 different categories. And in every one of those 11 categories, over 50% of our respondents said that GenAI was going to bring either transformative or significant value to 9 of those 11 value options. And they included things like innovation and creativity, productivity gains for people, customer service or satisfaction, decision support, efficiency gains, time to market acceleration. Those were some of them. So if you'd like to find out more about the study, you can click the link above or click in the description below, and that'll take you to our website, gives you more information. Hope your generative AI journey goes smoothly.